Okay, the whole rear is assembled, under tray, liners, and the wheels are on. So we are going to move to the front splitter. Just by looking at the splitter and where the attachment points are, I don't know how much I have to remove of the front, but I think folks have said that you need to remove the wheel, the liner, the under tray, and the front bumper and the grille, just to get to that splitter. But again, I'm going to try to cheat it and pay for it later. But before you lift up the jack, there's a T40 bolt that I pulled out that you can get by hand, and it is literally right where this jack point is, right under here. So once you put this jack under here, you're not going to be able to have access to it, so you got to drop the car, pull it out, put it up. At least that's how it is for me, but you can get that one by hand without lifting the car up. So pull those out on both sides and you should be good to go. So we're going to get the wheels off, the liner off, and then we're going to inspect, actually the tray too, and then we're going to inspect and hopefully not have to go through the airbox. But let's get started. Okay, wheels are off on the front. We're going to go for the liner, again T30 Phillips, and just kind of follow it through. Just make sure it kind of overlaps that brake line there, so brake sensor actually. So just be careful of that when you pull the liner out, and then it wraps down below here with the under tray. So there's 3 T30s that overlap with the under tray, so you have to pull the under tray off anyway. So let's go ahead and get that. Okay, both liners are out, and just the under tray left, and then I'll start to inspect to see if I can actually get in there. It's looking hopeful, but you know, my luck, it'll probably be a whole front removal. So combination T30 and T40 in the front under tray, and you should be good. Okay, so it turns out we're gonna have to remove the grille, and in order to do that, there's a 7mm nut right there, and it mimics it on the other side right in here. You can't maybe you can see it, I don't know, it might be hard to see it, but there it is right there, if you can see there. So we have to take those off. There's a T25 that is right there. There's 2 of them, and then there's one right on this inside here, and then there's one right there, and then there's 2, one right here, one above. So 2 on the outsides, 1 in the middle. But in order to get to that, I have to take the slam panel off, which is a bunch of T30s, and that's what we just installed. So just so I can get some room, but let's go ahead and do that. So T30, take the slam panel off, 2 7mm nuts, and then 6 T25s, and then the grill just pulls forward. Let's do it. Okay, just got the slam panel off, so we're going to go after that 7mm 2 nuts at the top, and then the T25. Okay, front grille is off. So now you can see the 2 exposed bolts on the bumper, which I'll show you in just a second. Yep, I'll show you where all the bolts are for the bumper, because I think we're gonna have to get this off. Now that the grille's off, to get the bumper off, there are these 10mm bolts. There's 3 of them. There's one here. There's one right here. I don't know if I can show you that. There's some light there, but yeah, you'll see those 2 right there. And then there's one all the way over there, which that's where I think we're gonna have to remove this airbox, but I think I have a long enough ratchet and a spanner to get in there, so I don't have to hopefully remove this guy. But there's 3 of them on both sides, and then the grill that we just removed, there's 2 more. There's one right here, and then there's another one right here. And then I believe there are push tabs that I'm gonna put tape, painter's tape on both sides of these, and then you can stick a trim tool or a flathead in there, and then you can push the tab down and it'll release the bumper. So I think that's it. Alright guys, so we're gonna have to remove the airbox. I have tried every combination to get back there, but I can get it on, just can't turn it, so it's really annoying. But excuse me, first thing I did was went ahead and removed these clips, or these sensors here. They go into the reflector, side reflector, and there's another one right below that, so that can detach from the bumper. Airbox has 3 8mm bolts. There's one right here. I don't know if you can see that, but then there's another one right here, and then there's one directly under. You need an extension to get that one, and then I think that the airbox will come out. So let's go ahead and do that and see how far we can get back there. All right. Okay, so I got the 3 bolts out. Turns out the airbox doesn't have to come out, so you just gotta drop it just a little bit and you can get your whole hand in there and get that bolt out. So 3 10s, there's one there, one in the middle, one on the edge here, and then 2 in the middle of the bumper, and then it repeats itself on the other side. So 8mm on the other side to drop the airbox just a little. Make sure you get the clips out, and that should do it. And then there's I gotta get painter's tape to push that spring clip out, so I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so that was way easier. You can see the bumper's already hanging now, and it's probably that spring clip in the 2 middle bolts that's really holding it on. So highly recommend. So I knew taking a shortcut was gonna not end well for me. So 3 8mm drops the airbox just a little bit so you can get your whole hand back there. It makes life so much easier. I would have struggled with every different combination to try to figure that out, but alright, let's go do the other side, get the 2 middle bolts out, find those spring clips, and then pull this bumper out. Okay, so I've tried for about 10 minutes here trying to figure out where this tab is, and it is so pinched right here I can't get even the thinnest trim tool, even a flathead in there. Even if I like give it some slack over here, bend down a little bit, I'm afraid I'm gonna snap it. But to be honest with you, I just looked at the splitter and where the mounting positions are. There's a T30 at the edge of this that after you remove the liner you have access to immediately. There's another one here, and then there's clips, same clips we had on the diffuser that just kind of bind the bumper and the splitter together. And then there's a bolt right here, because now I have this flexion right here, I can actually get my hand there, so I may not need to remove the entire bumper. I remove my tow hook, and then it's going to repeat on the same side. So there's another bolt over here on that end, 3 clips, T30 here, T30 here. That's a 10mm right here, and then I think we're in the clear. So I'm gonna try to do that without having to go and try to break a tab here or remove that entire bumper. But you still need to do everything we did just to get to this point. So you have this flexion here, so you can actually get your hand right here. Otherwise, you can't even get your hand behind there. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's try this out. I'm feeling hopeful. there she is. Didn't have to pull the full bumper off. So, but definitely this flexion helped. So there's the T30 I was talking about right on the edge. As soon as you pull the liner out, that's gonna be accessible. And same with this one, especially if you move that airbox just a little bit. Again, don't need to take the airbox out. So T30, T30, and then there is a bolt that comes through the top here, and then a nut on the bottom, which is a 10 mil. You can just get an extension, just like I have here, and that'll take this one out here. And then there are, you'll see 3 studs there, 1, 2, and 3. Those are 10 mil, and they go to the bottom of the mesh. Now the top of the mesh here is actually, there's like 10 clips that go into the bumper. I did not want to remove all that and have to pull all the sensor wires out, so I just left the mesh as is, and then that's going to give me a guiding hole for the new splitter. I'm just going to be able to line them up there and hold it in place while I get the other bolts in there. And then same thing over here. So again, on the top corner of this splitter here, there's that 10 millimeter bolt nut, and T30 and T30, and that's it. So let's go ahead and put the new carbon splitter on. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the carbon fiber splitter on. Like I said, the 10 millimeters that are on the mesh, the 3, I'm going to use that as a guide. And then we're going to have that hanging in there, and then I'll get T30s and the 10 mil bolt in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay guys, it is the next day and we got the mesh grill mocked up. It's held in by the 3 mesh screws down below and the 2 T30s off on the corners on each side. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten everything, and then the 10 millimeter nut that sits right on that corner piece, right on the splitter on both sides there. Make sure all the sensors are connected here with the lights. Remember the 2 sensors we got knocked out there. I'm going to connect those and then get the 3 screws, the 10 mils that go across the top here, connected. The 2 in the middle where the grill is connected, and then we're going to go ahead and get the air boxes back up. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, everything's put back. Now we're going to go ahead and do the airbox, the 3 bolts. It's going to be 8 millimeter, and we're going to get that bolt back to the box bolts back up. Just make sure all the connections are tight so you don't introduce like a vacuum and running lean. So let's go ahead and get Alright, got the airbox back in. Those were the 3 8 mils. Now we're going to go ahead and get the grill back in and then the slam panel. So for the grill, remember there were 2 7 millimeters, which is why you had to get the slam panel out so you can get it from here. We have 6 T25s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6 on the other side. So let's go ahead and put that in, and then for the slam panel it's just T30s. So we'll get the grill in, then the slam panel, and then I think this front end is done. And then we're going to get the liners and the wheels in, and that's it. just the liners to put in now, so T30 Phillips and the under tray, which is a combination of T30 and T40. So let's go ahead and get the liners in on both sides, then put the tray over top of it, and it'll clip into the front splitter, and then put the wheels on, and we should be done. Okay, liners are in, tray's in. I washed up the liners a little bit and cleaned the calipers off all the brake dust. So we're going to go ahead and put the wheels back on and torque them to 90 foot-pounds for these lug nuts, I believe they are. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, drop the car, and we should be wrapping up. That's it.